And now some words from our sponsor. Flap, pustule, jowls, nugget, gurgle, smear, curd, bulbous, tender, dongle, pork, moist. Whether you're a construction worker, warehouse worker, or frankly a radio host, if you hear certain words on the job site, work can be uncomfortable. So at least get work gear that's comfortable. Timberland Pro work shirts, pants, and boots. Head to toe. Timberland Pro, not uncomfortable.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
The NBA playoffs are here. That's always a big time in Miami over the last 7 or 8 years. Amin Elhassan flies in more often for us, to give us his basketball knowledge during these times. Bill Simmons has said that the Miami Heat are a really tough matchup for the Sixers. Greg Cody of the Miami Herald has predicted an upset.
Nice.
I believe they are two of the only people who believe that, but maybe Amin Elhassan. Amin Elhassan told you before the season started that the Miami Heat were going to win that division.
I did.
And you believe the Miami Heat match up well with the Sixers?
I do.
All right.
Beyond just the matching up, when you talk about Whiteside as being kind of a little bit of a thorn in the side of Embiid, when you talk about, the depth of the Heat, I really believe, and this is one of the things I know you're going to have a problem with. I really believe that it's hard for young teams to walk into a playoff situation and be able to produce because there's just so many sensations that they're experiencing for the very first time. It's the local out, right? It's like having sex for your first time. No one's awesome at it. And if you are, then God bless you. But
no one's awesome at sex for the first time?
The first time you walk in,
No.
You going, really?
Put it on the poll. No, Mike is not raising his finger because he's saying he was great at sex the first time.
I was very bad.
Yep.
He is saying put it on the poll.
I was awful, and I'm still bad.
Still haven't improved, really.
Yeah, I was scared.
But wait till I get a second chance.
That was last week. So scared. So,
anyway,
the Miami Heat, you believe, because this would be the arguments, and I'm going to become the urinator here. I like these people. I like this team. I like this city.
Right.
And you know that I don't believe in much of that stuff, although this team is particularly inexperienced, the Sixers. But if I give you one, playoff experience or stars in the playoffs, which one do you want?
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of what's my barometer for
If
success.
I give you playoff experience or a team that's been as better as the Sixers have been than the Heat have been over the course of the regular season, which one of those things do you want?
Do you want experience or do you want Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons?
I'm not saying it's irrelevant. I'm saying, or do you want matchups? That's a good answer. That if you don't want to go to intangibles, do you prefer the matchups that the Sixers that the Heat have against the Sixers?
I'm guessing Amin's going to say matchups are the most important thing. But the Heat, you could say the same thing about the Heat, right? Like they don't have a ton of playoff experience either.
Oh no, I would disagree. I think you look up and down that roster. Here's the thing, Stu, guys. People think that if you got to go to the finals to have playoff experience. It's not that. For a team that's never been in the playoffs, these are things that are going through your mind. First of all, particularly you had a really good regular season, which is based off of one hits, right? One shots. I played you tonight, and then it's all into the next one, right? I didn't spend a week trying to prep for you. I just spent
Spo and Riley having a week to prepare for Embiid and Simmons is a good thing. Like
right.
That can't be disputed.
That's one. Two is it's an adjustment game, right? So we're gonna prep, and game one's gonna happen, and then we're gonna have to make adjustments. And Brett Brown, he's done a terrific job this year. And Brett Brown was an assistant coach under Greg Popovich and won championships, whatever. But the adjustment making in game and between games, he's never done that. He's never been in this situation. And they say the hardest, this is going to sound terrible, the hardest 6 inches in basketball is moving from here to here, which is the assistant coach becoming the head coach. I know what it sounds
Mike,
like.
6 inches are so hard right now.
Right. So and I think Brett Brown is
5.5.
Being generous.
I was going after myself there. I didn't mean to step on your line there.
It's all right. But Brett Brown, as fine of a coach he is, Spo is like beyond battle tested at this forged in the fires of
Okay,
Mount
so
Riley,
you think
right?
that's more valuable than Embiid and Simmons are better than anyone the Heat has?
Yes, because it comes to the next part. So Embiid and Simmons, right? So there's a couple of things. First of all, the intensity level from regular season to playoffs ratchets up dramatically. That's what every player in their first playoffs always notices.
Well, that's the one I think the Heat can, for me, all I want is the Heat to get one of those first two games in Philadelphia so it can feel like a series.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because them coming up, what are they, 25-1 at home in their last 26 games?
Well,
you better get that first one. You better get them early. I don't think you're going to get them in
They've
those
lost 5 games since the All-Star break. 2 of them have been to Miami.
Is Embiid playing in that first game? Do we know that yet?
I think he is. They've been playing coy. The moment he had that injury, I said,
but that's the one to get.
I think he's coming back.
That's the one to get, where he hasn't played for a while. You're
Yep.
going into Philadelphia. They haven't played a playoff game. I mean, man, I kind of feel like they either make it a series in those first 2 games or they don't.
Yeah, if they go down 0-2, then it looks tough. But I don't think they'll go down 0-2. The other thing, beyond that ratcheting up of intensity, a lot of guys think, they hear that, I got to play extra hard. Well, it has to be regulated energy, right? There are guys who get too hyper, too up for it, and then they can't execute.
No legs late.
No legs, and also mental focus, making the right decisions at the right times. Playoff basketball is all about execution.
Well, how's it over if the Heat go down 0-2? Everyone knows the series doesn't actually start until a road team wins.
Exactly right.
I hate that saying.
How could it start how could it stop if it hasn't actually started?
I think the bigger a lead you give a team like Philadelphia, young team, the more confident they feel. So it's like a
front runners.
Yeah, I won't say it's a young team. I'm not talking about Philly. I'm just talking about a young team. It's our first playoffs. Wait a sec, we're up 2-0 now. Now that confidence, now they start to calm down a little.
No,
now
I'm talking about the team front running.
But if I were to say, if the things that you want in the playoffs, okay,
right?
I want you to rank them as a front office insider, because my argument on behalf of the Sixers would be the obvious one. They're better.
Talent, always.
And in a 7-game series in basketball, better tends to get rewarded. But you're telling me about stuff in the margins.
Yes.
Preparation and adjustments after game 3, mental fatigue of never having been there before. And so if I come back and ask you, what's the most important thing to have in the playoffs?
Talent.
No, rank them 1, 2, 3 before we get to experience. How, matchups, so all of it.
So I wouldn't use experience as a catch-all. I would say 1, talent. You always want talent, right? Absent anything. You don't tell me anything.
The Sixers have more.
They have more talent. 2, matchups. 3, execution, right?
And the matchup that I like, the one that I like, that I would say is the place where the Heat have a chance, is I don't think there's anyone in the damn league that can bother Embiid the way that Whiteside does. And so if you can somehow take him out of his game, coming back with a mask, not right, he's far and away the best player on the court, one of the best basketball players I've ever seen.
How do you match up with Simmons, though?
I've got a hot take.
Well, no,
I actually think there's a good matchup.
I think Whiteside can get Joel Embiid in foul trouble.
I have a hot take. I think the matchup to watch here is really Josh Richardson against Ben Simmons.
It's not going to be Josh Richardson versus, it'll be for a little bit, but the matchup is going to be James Johnson, Ben Simmons.
And you think that's a good matchup?
I think that's a great matchup. James Johnson was one of the few guys, size, athleticism, quickness, and then tough, SOB. He's going to dirty it up.
If you had to guess, you would say that Ben Simmons will be tested in a way here that we're going to find something out of.
Absolutely, especially when you talk about a guy at the ends of games. First of all,
never played in an NCAA tournament game, never played in an NIT tournament game.
That doesn't matter. If he had won the NIT or the NCAA, I still wouldn't care. That's because it's so different. It's so completely different. But I think the bigger thing is this is a guy who A, is a poor free throw shooter, which obviously not ideal, but B, plays like a guy who knows he's a poor free throw shooter. And that's really big, particularly if you're a guy with the ball in your hands, is that in those moments, he is very risk averse. Get this ball out of my hands. You don't think
Ben Simmons is going to get free throws in this series?
I don't think he is going to try to get free throws, which is the bigger.
But that's pretty good analysis there.
It's a bigger issue.
If you really believe, that's an interesting analysis, because Markelle Fultz has been a public short circuiter all season. You're telling me there's a guy in the NBA who thinks he 100% should be in the NBA or be the rookie of the year, who will not in the playoffs try to do anything that puts him at the free throw line?
I'm telling you, you watch ends of games with Philadelphia, and it's hot potato with that guy. He gets it, he gets rid of it because he knows he's not good at that. And this was my lone criticism of him this year, which was I don't mind that he's a poor free throw shooter. I mind that he plays like it. Meaning, Shaq was a poor free throw shooter. But at the end of the game, he still wanted the ball because even if he misses these 2 free throws, that's another foul, team foul. So now they're in the penalty. We're getting to the free throw line on every touch foul. 2, people are fouling out or getting in foul trouble trying to guard me. And 3, just because I missed the free throws doesn't mean we're not going to grab this rebound and try and do it again, right? And so I think it's the key. It's the same thing as like Ricky Rubio being a poor shooter. I don't have a problem with him being a poor shooter. I have a problem with him being scared that he's a poor shooter. And that's the thing about Ben Simmons.
It's a good distinction.
And by the way, I don't think it's a permanent thing. I think he's going to learn.
Mike Ryan is rubbing his nipples. I mean, Mike Ryan is rubbing his nipples.
Mike, what was the text I sent you?
I could see the Heat in the conference finals.
Uh-oh.
Because the matchups are so crazy, and that's
Wait a minute. Has that been a public proclamation, or is it something you were just brave enough to text to Mike?
I was just brave enough.
You could see them in the conference final. Was a text you sent, and now you just name drop that text as if it means something. What did I text you, Mike Ryan?
I also texted George Sedano, for what it's worth. So there are 2 people who've received that text.
I like this game, though. I could see the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals. I could see it.
I could see the Sixers in the finals.
Whoa!
Yes!
Oh, my God!
I texted that to Chris Cody the other day.
Next, you're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie, this does look fun. You melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Batard.
Amin Elhassan just tweeted that Goran Dragic is a top 5 point guard in the league.
Stugotz.
Amin Elhassan just tweeted that Goran Dragic is a top 5 point guard in the league.
This is the Don Batard show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
All right, Amin. We don't have you in often, especially during Heat playoffs.
Yeah.
So this is a local hour segment. And you and I, we're just going to geek out over Heat playoff basketball. I got a lot of questions, and you're the one to answer them. Okay?
I'm ready.
I don't like how we're talking about this series so far.
Why not?
Which is, how are we going to stop Embiid? Who's going to stop Embiid? Who's going to stop Simmons? Because I think the Miami Heat have something that the Sixers are going to have trouble stopping.
What's that?
I think there's a key mismatch in this series that benefits the Miami Heat, and it's Goran Dragic, actually. I think that's a very tough matchup for the Philadelphia 76ers. Tell me why I'm right.
I think guard play is it's not just Dragic, it's also Richardson. And a lot of that has to do with all of, while Philly's a very good defensive team, particularly Simmons and Covington, these are smaller guys. So, they don't match up well as far as trying to guard guys that size, guard down. Not when you have that many of them trying to do all that.
Obviously, the marquee names are Embiid and Simmons.
Yes.
And that's who the casual NBA fan knows. Who else on the Sixers team do I have to worry about? J.J. Redick's obviously a three-point shooter.
100% J.J. Redick.
Who else on this team is a guy that's going to give the Heat fan fits because they can go off?
Well, see, J.J. Redick is, let's stop on him for a second because he's a guy that I don't think people think of him as anything more than a shooter, but he's not like pick your favorite spot-up shooter. Stays there in the corner, and then he'll hurt you. J.J. Redick runs. He sprints around the court, and his sprinting off of several stagger screens draws attention, rightfully so. He's such a great shooter.
Uh-oh, I hope Wade's not on him. Prime Wade had, like Ray Allen gave Dwayne Wade fits doing that.
Right. Well, J.J. Redick is cut from that same call. Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Rip Hamilton, I'm going to run you through 100 screens, and I'm going to run. It's not like that light jog. And if you don't react as a defense, he's going to kill you. So that's where it gets interesting in terms of matchups is, do you put a Josh Richardson on him? A little length to bother him. The problem is, even if you do, and Josh Richardson is successful, you've taken Josh Richardson out of some other place where he could have been helping. Meaning, J.J. Redick, if you basically run him off these screens and he never gets a shot, his job has still been done. He drew the attention. He made you pay attention and expend energy in trying to prevent that, and that makes life easier for everybody else.
Okay, so we covered Reddick. Who else on this team's going to give the Heat fan fits?
Well, Robert Covington. Now, he's more of the spot shooter that'll hurt you, but again, he's got tremendous size. You're talking about a guy who's 6'8", 6'9", and athletic. Nice. That's a guy that can give you fits because not in and of himself, but again, fourth or fifth guy on the progression you got to worry about. What's up, man? Chilling, bro. You good?
What's up, Dominic?
Oh, you're good. There you go. Appreciate it. You look good. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get on your level. Good luck.
That was Dominic Foxworth, everybody. Continue about the 6'8", 6'9", Scott Covington.
Robert Covington.
Did I call him Scott Covington?
Scott Covington.
Former Miami Hurricanes quarterback.
Wow, that's fine.
That's why I did that. I will pay the $2, even though that's not my fine. By the way, Scott Covington, one of the more disastrous Monday Night Football starts you'll ever see.
Wow.
Google this.
I feel like we got to pause for the cause right now and actually Google it.
Well, nothing really throws you off quite like a Dominic Foxworth. And I was thrown off before because Stugotz came in here and brought Dominic Foxworth in and just sort of like, while I was on the air, waved sausage fingers. Is it okay if Dominic Foxworth goes in there? And I thought we were going to do a bit where Dominique just comes in and chimes in and does this Heat segment with us. But no, he was just looking for something and it totally threw everybody off.
It still ended up as a bit, though.
A bad one.
Yeah.
A bad one.
Look, hey, man. You never said we're going to have a good bit here.
The more I think about it, that was incredibly rude of Stugotz because that's not a plan at all.
Radio professional.
What's the, what was the sense of urgency for that charger, by the way?
Right.
You know?
It could have waited a couple minutes.
Yeah, we got a break coming up here.
While we geek out here on Heat basketball.
Yeah. What else you want to know?
Okay.
More Philadelphia questions?
Yes, I have a little bit more Philadelphia questions before I get to...
TJ McConnell. Scrappy. He's everything you think of white point guards.
Yeah.
Every single thing. Scrappy, gritty, a competitor, a gym rat.
Is he a flopper? Okay, well then that's not everything.
All right. Is flopper? Wait, hold on. Is flopper a particularly white trait? White basketball player trait?
For the gritty white guy that does all those other things?
No, yeah. I wouldn't say flopper.
Really?
No.
Deli flops?
No, I mean, but no. Deli is like the patron saint.
Yeah.
That's like saying, well, Jesus flopped. Well, we can't be Jesus, Mike. Can I be one of the apostles? No. I don't think flopping is ethnicity specific.
Well,
some of the best floppers in our league are black.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, in the early days, it was always put on the European.
Euro. It was a very Euro.
Thing, and then and then the NBA players sort of adjusted.
Kind of like the Beatles invasion, right? Like you come over and then all of a sudden everyone's got the same haircut and singing the same kind of music. I think of the great floppers in our league right now: Chris Paul, Marcus Smart. Hey, this dude, by the way, let me see if you can guess. He's playing in this series, Sixers Heat. Tremendous flopper. One of the best.
Dwayne Wade?
No. Although he was at one point. Better than Dwayne Wade.
He wasn't.
Right now. No, those are all real.
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid. That guy's an amazing flopper. And what I like about Joel Embiid and his flopping more than anybody else is that when he does it and he gets the call, he will openly smile and let you know, got him again.
D-Wade used to do that stuff too.
I love the guys who acknowledge what they've just done. I don't like the guys that kind of just clap their hands and look furious. Like, that's right, I played great defense and he had to hit me to get by me. I like the guys that ham it up.
Before we move on to the Heat, we've been doing tangible stuff, and we covered the intangible a little bit, but I'm a big culture guy, as you know.
Yeah.
What sort of stock, if any, do you put in the fact that these two teams matching up, one team's culture is about, we've been there, we've been through the wars, we've been through the struggle, individually, even when we were away from this organization rescued us, and it's all about grit and believing that you can.
Second chance. Second chance you, basically.
Yeah, as opposed to a team whose whole organizational philosophy appears to be just, we're due.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. That is a great way to put it. Like the idea that the process is in essence, if you wait long enough, it'll happen.
Right. I the intangible culture zealot in me, right, just sees Philadelphia as a team that just thinks this W is coming their way because it's destiny. And this Miami Heat team is going to make you earn it. And I know that's cliche, and that's fan talk, and that's all the stuff that we want to believe, but I believe it to be really true in this instance.
Well, I think, see, this is the problem, and I've been on last couple of days talking about this. When you say veteran experience and veteran leadership and stuff like that, it has a bad connotation because it's basically a catch-all of, I don't know how to describe it, so I'm just going to pin it on they're vets, right? So what I've been trying to do is do a better job of explaining what that means, what exactly that means, right? That difference between Philadelphia and Miami, why you think Miami's grit and culture can do it. It's because of the attention to detail and the execution. And that's what the playoffs is all about. It's all about incredibly detailed scouting reports that players can absorb, because Brett Brown and his staff can come out with an encyclopedia. But if you got 20 and 21-year-old dudes who are like, man, what this, they ain't got no all-stars, I'm not reading this encyclopedia. I'm just going to go out here and play basketball. It's kind of like what LeBron went through. Obviously LeBron, immensely talented, and been to the finals with 4 bums and 6 other bums on the bench and all that. But think about him being around Shane Battier and how that changed his approach to basketball in general and the playoffs particularly. That's what I'm talking. That's exactly what I'm talking about there.
2002 with the St. Louis Rams, Scott Covington, 2 for 5 for 7 yards, and then he was pulled from the game.
Wait, he started the game?
Yeah, I told you, one of the worst Monday Night Football starts ever.
Two sacks.
Yeah, he was pulled
any
for...
INTs?
No. He wasn't given the opportunity. He was just generally ineffective.
They just knew.
Yeah, if you were watching that game, as I was, as a huge Scott Covington fan, you knew this guy didn't have the goods. One career start. That was his one opportunity.
That was it.
Yep.
That makes the Andre Ingram story that much more important.
Oh, we're going to get into Andre Ingram during the national show.
Okay.
All right, so we've covered the intangible, the culture stuff, the Sixers, a little of what Miami can do on offense with Goran Dragic. Let's address the elephant in the room, because you sort of been on record. Some paint you, unfairly, I might add, as an anti-D Wade guy when it comes to the flow of this offense. Is he going to get in the way, or is he going to be valuable, know his role, and be the guy that he was during the regular season against Philadelphia, which is this guy straight up won you a game?
He did. Not necessarily on the best possession, but again, you earn that right? When you've been Dwayne Wade and you've done it that many times, you earn the right to go through that, even as I don't think that's the greatest play calling. I think this is Eric Spoelstra's Achilles heel, right? If Wade doesn't have it, does he have the wherewithal to be like, you ain't got it today, save it for next one, and we'll try somewhere else? And that's my biggest question about Miami and Eric Spoelstra in particular. Are they too attached to memories of years past to be able to make the hard decision when it shouldn't even be that hard? But again, I think there's a value in having a guy like Dwayne Wade who's been in those situations in a playoff scenario, because I think we'll see Philadelphia have issues with the close games. I think Philadelphia's only chance of winning this series is they have to out-talent the hell out of Miami. Like, these got to be 15-point blowouts. They can't be nip-and-tuck games.
Well, what you're saying, as a Heat fan, I feel good about because of what you mentioned about Ben Simmons and him getting tight because he doesn't want to go to the line. Now, Dan mentioned he may not be going to the line a lot. No, I think he might be going to the line plenty, just not of his own volition.
Right. And then that turns into, do you want to do this for him? Do you want to do this because you're on the floor and it's not under 2 minutes? Or do you want to go to the free throw line because you were forcing action and making defenses react and making plays? And again, I didn't get to say that in the first segment. I don't think that's a permanent thing. He's going to get over that. He might get over that after this year. He'll go this summer and realize, hey, I can come back and shoot 50% from free throw line. I can't come back play like that again. But this, again, you know the saying, this ain't my first time at the rodeo. This is their first time at the rodeo. That saying exists for a reason.
It's an intense rodeo.
Oh, boy.
It's a super intense
rodeo. Buckle up.
One thing before we get to Matt Iceman and Akbar Kabajabiamila from American Ninja Warrior.
Well done.
Huh? I remember KGB, his brother in the NFL. Not so much Akbar, even though I know he played. He's going to be joining us because a lot of us are going to be doing this American Ninja Warrior course. Real quick.
How many?
Well, that's up for debate. We'll get into that. Chris Cody has just bailed on us, by the way. Real quick, a couple things that I've seen with the Heat lately that I wonder if you've realized. It kind of feels like Justice Winslow has taken a step. He's getting to the rim with relative ease. His touch has improved a little bit, but that's not saying much. And James Johnson initiating the offense late in games. That seems to be back, whereas he was really struggling in the early part of the season.
Okay, so Winslow, the problem has never been getting to the rim. The problem is his finishing is just subpar, to say the least. And it'll take a while for me to feel like that's gotten better. Even a couple of hot streaks here and there, I'm still not sold. As far as James Johnson goes, I thought early in the year, particularly in that stretch where they were losing those last possession games over and over again, I think he was overworked. And adding Wade and kind of Richardson coming back because he had that little rough spot, I think that's helped relieve the stress off of him.
All right, so Heat in 5?
Heat in 6.
Dan Le Batard.
You really are of the impression that all of South Florida and good parts of America are huddled around their transistor radio just to hear your opinion on things, aren't you?
Yes, in Europe, too.
Stugotz.
Don't listen to anything Stugotz says.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
The host of American Ninja Warrior. And we're going to be taping at Bayfront Park tonight and tomorrow night. For tickets and more information, visit on-camera-audiences.com. They're going to join us right now in the Orion Fuel and Downstairs Convenience Store guest line. They are truly steps beyond convenient. Someone's going to get hurt.
There are two hosts that are joining us, okay? They are named Matt Iceman and
Akbar Gabajabiamila.
And they join us now on 790 The Ticket.
That's why I said the two hosts.
Okay, I noticed why.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't say two hosts. You said the host joins us now because you were simply afraid of the name and didn't want any challenges. This name that I have a lot of bravery around.
Akbar Gabajabiamila.
No, it was the other one for me.
Okay, they are the hosts of American Ninja Warrior. Amin is saying he's going to crush this course. I believe we're all going to get hurt. I signed a bunch of liability papers. So now Matt Iceman was a doctor. He was a physician. What a weird career track this guy's had. That's right. Listen to this. He's a doctor and then a comedian, actor, television host. He won Celebrity Apprentice. What? Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so Iceman. What the hell, man?
Dr. Iceman.
Dr. Iceman.
Listen, I'm not the one who's about to run the course, Le Batard, knowing full well injury is clearly in the cards for you guys. So the good news is, as a doctor, I will be there to laugh thoroughly at you guys as you go down.
All right, wait a minute. I want to understand, though, how much of a chance we have. Amin is 39 years old. I'm 49 years old. I don't know whether Stugotz is doing it. Billy is a high school pole vaulter. I don't believe any of us are going to get past the first challenge.
Well, Dan, I'm going to second that.
Okay.
Yeah, Akbar may be right, but Stugotz, you got to do it because my buddy Brian Tomio wouldn't allow you to live it down if you don't get on the course. But Akbar, I agree with just what you just said.
I didn't hear what Akbar just said. You were talking while he said it.
So I said, have a little confidence here. So, I mean, clearly you guys didn't have the confidence to say my last name. It was wrong, flat out wrong. But I love the confidence in
Wait a minute.
saying it wrong.
This is wrong right here. This is wrong.
Akbar Gabajabiamila.
Oh, that's a pre-recorded tape?
Is that right? Wait a minute. Is that wrong? Hold on. Say it again. I wasn't saying it. Did you think I was saying it?
Akbar Gabajabiamila.
No, it's Bajabiamila. The G is silent. And that's a recorded tape. Oh, what is this?
I'm sorry. What is this? It's such a great
broadcast performance enhancement.
All right, hold on. You don't believe that one of us...
There's a silent G?
A silent G? Did anyone know there was a silent G out there?
Amazing.
I can't believe it. Yeah, the G is silent. It's Yoruba. It's Nigerian. With all the Nigerian athletes in the NFL, the NBA, you guys can't say a Nigerian last name? I'm shamed.
Well, I could say Ayan Badejo.
Wow. You see,
barely.
You can say Brendan? You can say Brendan and Fender's last name, but you can't say mine?
Dan.
Yes, sir.
Does Ian Badejo have a question mark at the end of it, Le Batard?
I wasn't real confident about that either. The Nigerian name scared me. So anyways, we're joined.
Listen, you guys think you're going to get through the course. You failed the first obstacle of saying Akbar's last name.
That's right.
This does not bode well for what's going to happen in Miami. Akbar Oluwakemi Idwu Bajabiamila.
Now he's just showing off. He said my whole name.
I can't believe that the G is silent because I remember your brother playing in the league. I know you did too, Akbar, but his nickname was KGB. The G wasn't silent then.
What do you got there?
Well done.
No. Okay, you're so funny because John Madden is the one who gave him his nickname, and John Madden says by the time Kabir would make a sack, and he turned around and tried to get Kabir's name out, they were already off to the next play. He couldn't do it, so he just said, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to just go and take you.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
That boy should do that.
It's really interesting that you're okay with it from Madden, but I've insulted your entire heritage. Madden does it to your brother, and it's cool, but I've insulted all Nigerians.
Well, let's face it, he just did Rocky Balboa's voice for John Madden there. So.
He really did. I want to hear Akbar's John Madden again. It was truly terrible.
No, it wasn't.
Call a play involving your brother.
Yeah, come on, do it. Yes.
Here it is right here. And here's Chase D, and he's and then boom, and then he gets what you got, and then boom, there's a sack. That's it.
Frank Caliendo's job is safe.
Yes, it is. It's so awful. It's good. I mean.
Explain this to me, because we're going to do this American Ninja course here Friday and Saturday. We're going to do it poorly. We're going to get hurt. It's going to be terrible. I'm scared to do it. I legitimately am. But can you explain to me, Matt, did your family feel like you failed when you left, the idea of being a doctor?
Every day, Dan. My dad's a doctor, and I was literally practicing at the hospital in University of Colorado, where my dad was a professor. And so when I decided I was going to move out to L.A. and become a stand-up comedian and talk about ninjas, you can imagine it was his dream come true. Fortunately, my mom really enjoys American Ninja Warriors, so they've kind of come around to the idea.
Were you a successful doctor?
I can still wear a white coat.
Were you a successful doctor?
Due to the lawsuits, I can't really comment on it, but I was doing okay. But my heart wasn't in it, and I decided, it'll be a lot more fun, was rather than the certainty and respect of being a doctor, it would be becoming a stand-up comedian, because women always say they love a man with humor. That's why I'm single to this day.
Wait, Jesus Christ, you were a doctor with your heart wasn't in it? Can you imagine being one of his patients?
Yeah.
Well, no, not knowing that now, being one of his patients, yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Hey, listen, Saturday night after you guys run the course, you'll find out what it's like to be one of my patients.
All right, well, talk to me about this course. Like, what's the worst injury that's ever been sustained?
How hard? Yeah, I can't be breaking a hip or anything.
Well, we've had a lot of guys run through the course, and we've seen very few injuries. But I will say, one of the non-athletes that tried it, he was a cameraman, I believe this was in Dallas a couple years back, went on, and he was so cocky. It was, oh, yeah, I got this, oh, yeah. And he made one move, boom, lost his biceps, just like that. That was not my John Madden.
What do you mean lost his bicep? Where did it go? What do you mean?
It rolled up and disappeared. It just rolled up.
What? All right, so that's good.
Wait, which obstacle was it?
Matt, do you remember?
It was on the swing into the cargo net. He was essentially on a trapeze,
right. Yeah,
and I think he was leaning forward. He was trying to flex to show off his biceps. He was actually a weatherman, not a cameraman, and so he was on camera and he was wearing a muscle tee, and I think he was going for the flex. Now, this is a mistake. Batard, I don't see it out of you.
I am going to make the same mistake.
I can see a little cockiness on the field. I can see a little cockiness out of Amin.
That would be great. The best case scenario for us is an Amin injury where he's preening. That's the best case scenario for us.
I think Amin has the best chance. I think Amin has the best chance.
You're buying into the cockiness. He did the same thing. He said he could beat everyone in here in a race. He lost a fat Chris. Get out of here.
I think I had it going like this. I got Amin going first.
Yes.
Then I have Stugotz. And Dan, I'm not hating on you. I doubt that you'll even get through the floating steps.
Floating steps. I'm scared of the floating steps.
Floating steps
I think it's a conquering. I think I win if I get past the floating steps. The first floating steps, the easy part of the course.
I like this. You're giving yourself a handicap, Dan. I like that.
Matt, I got no shot. Whatever your second thing is, if it's raise your arms over your head and hang from something, I'm going to fall down.
I have a feeling I'm starting to sense actually Dan is sandbagging here. I think he's been training.
You're right. I'm a professional gymnast.
I think Lebatard's going to come up, tear off his shirt, show off a six-pack, and destroy the entire course.
Hold on a second, guys. Have either of you ever done the course?
Yeah.
Well,
Matt, we're talking a big game,
man. May 24th.
Right.
So for me, I don't want to boost your confidence here, guys.
Right.
I shattered my foot 2 years ago and sprained my ankle last week. So don't go by me, though. I'm an exception. You guys are going to be healthy.
I was there for both of them. And Matt was pretty amazing in doing those injuries. That's the one thing he absolutely did.
All right, congratulations, Iceman. You're a real tough guy. So how about you,
Iceman?
Akbar? How did you do it? That's fine. How did you do it?
Well, for the very first time, no, I didn't tear anything. But actually, I kind of did. But for the very first time, I'm going to be running the course on May 24th on Red Nose Day. So that's going to be pretty big. We have a celebrity ninja warrior. And I thought, you know what? Let me throw my name into the hat. And I thought the producer was going to be like, nah, Akbar, we can't. We want you to host. And they go, yeah, sure. And so I go out and do it. And let me tell you something. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was afraid. I played in front of hundreds of thousands of people. I've done the whole thing, bright lights, and I was so nervous. And even in
I am going to give a spoiler here, though.
Okay,
I'm going to give a spoiler.
Here's the one spoiler. I did have a tear in my bicep. I didn't completely tear, but I did have a tear in my bicep. So I'm just
no. I was going to talk about the tear that happened in your shirt. He tears his shirt off at the starting block, just to let you know the confidence of his physicality.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but I mean, I can do that. Dan, still got
Yeah, no, we're not going to do it. Yes, okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. Congratulations, Akbar. You're a better athlete than a 49-year-old middle-aged Cuban sports writer. I salute you. When you tear off your shirt, it looks different than when I tear off my shirt. I feel like.
But I've been retired for 10 years now.
That's right.
I haven't done anything since 2008.
So have I, dude. So have I. I've been retired for just as long. Thank you guys for being on with us. American Ninja Warrior is going to be taping Bayfront Park tonight and tomorrow night. If you want tickets and information, visit oncameraaudiences.com.
Thanks, AGB.
Hey, thank you so much. Can't wait to call you guys run.
See you guys later.
You guys, good luck.
Silent.
We'll have the beer standing by.
The G is silent. Mike, you had so much confidence in his name. You kept saying it during the break over and over again.
That's how when his brother broke in the NFL, because I don't know if you remember, his brother came out of nowhere and was this sack monster. They always pronounced the G, so that's how I'm known. I don't really watch American Ninja Warrior, but there's a G in front of it. Who knows about a silent G? Get out of here.
Did you know about the silent G? Put her on the poll, Guillermo. What's going to happen with this thing? Because even when Allison was bringing me all these papers and these waivers to sign, I said to her and have reiterated several times, hey, I reserve the right to go there and decide I'm not doing this if I'm going to get hurt. I am not. If there is actually the risk of me harming myself badly, I'm not going to be on crutches for 2 months for doing that.
I thought we were talking about some skinned knees and
No. There's legitimate. Do you not know what the American? You've been talking so much crap.
I watch it all the time. I never seen anyone get hurt.
I think I'm the only one going tonight now because Fat Chris just bailed, and tonight's actually the harder course as it's been explained to me. Even though I don't really know how they can change out these courses, but the pros go tonight.
That's why. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. That's why all the secrecy, because they have different obstacles, and they don't want the pros in the other cities to know about them, because if they do, then they go back to their own little gyms and create facsimiles of these things.
Outside of signing our lives away and the significant potential for injury, we also can't divulge what really happens because of what Amin's talking about. Right. Because there are people out there that build these things in their backyard.
So we can't even say what we did.
No, there's an embargo.
We can't be specific about the obstacles, right? We can say, oh man, Dan really wiped out there, but you can't say he wiped out on the thing that made you swing from the thing.
Well, what is the success here? Can someone explain to me who's doing this? What are we doing? And who are the people involved? Because Fat Chris is out. It's going to be me out there by myself, right? With Amin's parents?
Nat.
Yeah, that's what.
I'll be there Saturday, Dano, and I'm going to dominate this thing. I went to ninja training yesterday at the gym with Roy and Charlie. I did the warped wall. Suck it.
Oh, Charlie.
Warped wall.
Did you do it?
I did it. There's video footage if you'd like to see it. Oh, successfully.
What are you asking me to suck?
14-foot wall.
Warped wall?
Warped wall. Now, there were other obstacles that were a little more dangerous that I did not succeed at.
I sprained my ankle.
Gnome.
Wait a minute. You went?
Yeah, I went last night with Billy and Charlie, just as Billy said, and on that wall, I fell and turned my ankle.
The good news is, fellas, the warped wall is the last obstacle, so no one's getting to it.
Wait,
Yeah, great.
I was under the impression that they would let us try each obstacle, even though, because none of us are going to get through it. I know that, but
Not even
we're
you.
gonna try it.
What happened to you? I thought your parents were flying in because you were going to be a great trapeze artist, and at the end of the warped wall, you were going to do a double somersault and dismount it like Kerry Strug.
I'm talking about you guys. I thought they were going to let you guys all try it. Who's Kerry Strug, by the way? That's a very timely reference.
Whoa.
Well, it's a gymnast. It's a gymnast that had a famous American.
She broke her ankle, right?
Dismount. And jumped into Bella Crowley's arms. That's before we got all that information about, all that stuff that made it vastly less quaint involving Bella and, just generally the dirtiness of young girls' gymnastics.
When you break your ankle, you got to go see the doctor.
Is there any particular reason that after all these years you still don't know how to talk into the microphone?
It's weird.
It's sort of his deal now.
That's my thing.
It's his
theater of the mind.
A line.
You're just sort of bored, indifferent. I thought your thing was talking trash about events that you were going to fail at. I thought that was your thing.
I can have more than one thing, Dan.
Well, can you give us 30 seconds on this thing?
Trailing away from the mic is super in, dude. By the way, you see those blue jackets? Same old Caps, brother.
I don't love that character.
Hey, it's me, dude. Hockey surfer dude that stands even further away from the mic. Totally different dude, by the way. Caps suck. Whoa!
The sunglasses bring a whole different vibe to this now.
I do. I think you should be the guy without sunglasses when you're close to the mic, and the guy.
The audience has no idea I'm wearing sunglasses.
I know.
Theater
They will.
of the mind.
They will soon.
That's right. The audience has no idea that you're wearing sunglasses, but Amin was away from the mic while delivering it.
Kenny G.